My family took the money I sent for a supposed crisis and splurged on an extravagant vacation. When I confronted my mother via WhatsApp, she replied, "This trip is only for our true family." I didn't respond. A week later, when they returned, they were in for a shock. If you want to see how much your family values you, give them $30,000 and wait a few weeks. If you're like me, Jake, the eldest son who's always been sidelined, you'll learn you're nothing but a cash machine. My parents, Diane and Richard, live in a flashy suburb near Sacramento called Granite Bay. It's the sort of place where people pretend to be richer than they are, even if they're buried in debt. My parents blend right in. They've always cared more about appearances than their own son's feelings. Then there are my twin sisters, Emma and Olivia, 31 years old but still acting like kids. They've never held down real jobs, yet somehow everything revolves around them. I've always been the odd one out. I moved to San Diego in my 20s, carved out my own life and kept my distance. Visits were out of duty, calls were scarce, and conversations were surface level. That was the routine. Then 3 weeks ago, my mother called out of nowhere. No pleasantries, just a frantic tone. She claimed there was a dire medical situation, mounting hospital bills and a looming foreclosure. She said the bank had turned them down and they were on the verge of losing everything. Her voice was theatrical but practiced, like she'd rehearsed this pitch before. I pressed for details. She sidestepped. I asked again, more deflections. I wasn't entirely convinced, but they caught me off guard. I just landed a major deal and was feeling generous, maybe even guilty for being the one who escaped. So I transferred $30,000, no more questions. All I got was a lukewarm thank you and radio silence. Weeks went by, no updates, no proof, not even a simple "we're okay." Something felt wrong, so I drove to Granite Bay to check for myself. When I got there, the house looked deserted. Mail stacked up, no cars in sight, blinds drawn. I rang the bell, no response. Calls went unanswered. Finally, my mother texted back, "We're on a luxury cruise in the Mediterranean. This is just for our true family." No remorse, no explanation, just pure disregard. I didn't react. There was nothing to say, but I wasn't letting it go. I contacted Stan, the nosy neighbor who knows everyone's business, and asked him to let me know when they returned. He agreed, giving me a knowing glance. On the drive back to San Diego, I thought about the Mercedes I'd bought them 2 years ago, a $35,000 gesture to win their approval. Now I saw it for what it was. Another way they'd exploited me, so I devised a plan. While they were enjoying my money, I'd start taking back what was mine. A week later, Stan called. "They're back," he said. I took my time getting there. When I walked in unannounced, they were too busy raving about their trip to notice me. Wine tastings in Tuscany, yacht parties in Greece, no mention of the $30,000 or the fabricated emergency. I cut in. "I'm taking the Mercedes until you repay me." Pandemonium broke out. They called me vindictive, petty, envious. My father even threatened to call the police until I reminded him the car was in my name. The next day, I found out they'd siphoned another $400 from an old emergency credit card I'd forgotten to close. That was it. I shut down all access, changed every password, and waited. Over the next month, they sent sporadic payments. $1,000 here, $500 there, totaling $8,000. No apologies, just snarky texts about family loyalty and forgiveness. Meanwhile, they told friends I'd refused to help during a health scare. Then came the final twist. I sold the Mercedes for $34,000 in cash. As the buyer drove off, a stranger messaged me. "Your mom told everyone you abandoned her during a crisis. We gave $4,000, just learned about the cruise." I chuckled. This wasn't about the money anymore. It was about the web of lies they'd spun, and I was ready to unravel it. The consequences were coming. After selling the Mercedes, I thought the drama was done, but my family wasn't finished. The next morning, my phone lit up with notifications, angry voicemails, texts dripping with outrage and desperation. "How dare you sell our car?" my father bellowed in one message. "You've gone too far this time." My mother's texts were more calculated. "Jake, we're family. Families move on. Return the money and we'll pretend this never happened." Move on, after their deceit, theft, and victim act, not happening. Then came the online smear campaign. Emma and Olivia flooded social media with cryptic posts. Family should mean trust, not betrayal. Some value cash over love. I almost admired their nerve. They were rewriting the narrative, casting me as the villain while they posed as martyrs. The truth emerged. The text from my mom's old colleague was just the start. Over the next few days, more messages came from people who donated to their crisis. A man from their community group sent a screenshot of a chat where my mother pleaded for help, claiming I'd deserted them in their time of need. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I wrote a post, clear, factual, and cutting. I laid out every deception, every dollar stolen, and included the WhatsApp message where my mother admitted the cruise was for true family. Then I posted it. The response was immediate. Old friends and distant cousins I hadn't spoken to in years reached out, stunned. Some apologized for buying my parents' story, others just wanted the gossip. My parents, they went quiet. The forced reconciliation. 3 days later, my doorbell rang. The security camera showed my father standing alone, looking haggard. I didn't open the door. He left a note. "We need to talk man to man, no lawyers, no tricks." I ignored it. Then at 2 a.m. my phone pinged. A text from Olivia. "We're sorry, just call us." It was the first apology I'd ever gotten from any of them. Too little, too late. The final move. A week later, a certified letter arrived, official looking but not from a lawyer. Inside was a handwritten contract. "We'll repay the remaining $22,000 in installments if you stop publicly exposing us." I laughed. They weren't remorseful. They were terrified. Terrified of losing their image, their pity points, their free ride. I didn't sign. Instead, I replied with one line, "Pay me in full and I'll think about it." 6 months later, they've paid back $15,000. Still short, but it's something. The twins have cut me off completely. My parents send occasional manipulative emails about reconciliation. And me, I'm done. I changed my number, moved to a new place, even bought a new car. One they've never seen, never touched. The money, I'll get it back eventually. But the real victory, knowing I'm free, no more deceit, no more games, just peace. I thought the chaos was over. Then she appeared. It was a stormy Tuesday night when my doorbell rang. The security feed showed a familiar figure, Emma, alone under a dark umbrella, her face pale and worn. No Olivia, no parents, just Emma. I almost didn't answer. But something about her demeanor, slumped, broken, sparked my curiosity. "You look rough," I said, opening the door. She didn't react to the jab. "Can I come in just 5 minutes?" Against my instincts, I let her in. Emma sat rigidly on my couch, gripping a glass of water like it was her anchor. "Everything's falling apart," she whispered. "Mom and Dad are splitting up. Olivia's in rehab. And I just got sued by the community center." I raised an eyebrow. "Sued for what?" "Fraud." Her eyes welled up, mascara smudging. "Some of the donations they took were from the center's renovation fund. Over $15,000. I couldn't help it. I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "So you're here because I need your help." The words seemed to choke her. "You're the only one who can fix this." Emma pushed a folder toward me. Inside were bank records, legal documents, and most notably the deed to the Granite Bay house. "They're going to lose it all," she said. "But if you say you knew about the money, that it was a family arrangement." "Let me stop you," I snapped, closing the folder. "You want me to lie, commit perjury, after everything?" Emma's face contorted. "It's not lying, it's framing the truth like you do in your deals." That hit hard. But what hit harder was realizing she still didn't understand. I stood, suddenly drained. "Get out. Jake, please, get out." My shout startled us both. "You don't get to show up after all the lies, theft, and manipulation and ask me to fix your mess. Not now, not ever." Emma's expression hardened. "Fine, but when they come for us, they'll come for you too. Family's family." She slammed the door so hard the walls rattled. 2 weeks later, the news hit. "Local couple faces charges for theft and fraud," blared the Sacramento Chronicle. There was my parents' cheerful holiday photo, the one they'd mailed me last year with a "miss you" note splashed across the front page. The article laid it all bare. The fake emergencies, the misappropriated community funds, even the cruise partly funded by a defaulted loan. Reporters flooded my phone. I ignored them. Then a text came from an unknown number. "They arrested Mom today. Dad's gone. I've got nowhere to go." I stared at the message for a long time. Then I typed 3 words and hit send. "Not my problem." A year later, the final payment arrived last week. A certified check for $87.42.19, the remaining balance plus interest. I used it to book a trip. First-class ticket to Fiji, solo. As the plane took off, I thought about the last I'd heard of them. Emma got 6 months probation for her part in the scheme. Olivia relapsed days after leaving rehab. My father was caught trying to flee to Canada with $40,000 in cash. My mother served 3 months before moving to a halfway house. The flight attendant offered me wine. I took it. Somewhere over the ocean, I opened my laptop and deleted the last family photo I'd kept. Us at my college graduation, back when I still thought we were a real family. Then I closed my eyes and slept better than I had in years.